Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again right here on the Global Underwater Explorers YouTube channel. My name, you know me by now, Nico Luro, host of the GUE Creative Imagery for Divers series. I'm joined, as always, by the gentleman over to my left, the rock star himself, Mr. Michael Menduno. How are we doing, sir?
Hey, Nico, how you doing? Good to see you today. Yeah,
Great to see you too, representing Sea Shepherd on the shirt, I see.
absolutely. And it's Captain Paul Watson's 71st birthday is coming up here, so I know they're doing a big fundraiser to protect the ocean. So good to give them a shout out. Yep.
Big happy birthday to the captain. If you haven't seen it, about a year ago, we did a full-depth interview with Captain Paul Watson, both in-depth and right
Yep.
here on the channel. Link to that above if you want to see it.
Yep.
But we're not here to talk about previous videos, but we do extend a happy birthday to Captain Paul Watson. Michael, we're here to talk about your stuff. What have we got today?
Well, I got a question for you. So,
Of course you do.
10, of course I do, yeah. 10 years ago, this breakthrough was predicted to be coming and that would dramatically change rebreather safety. What would that breakthrough be?
No.
No, nothing. No.
Give me a clue. Give me something.
Well, it's not checklists. Though those have helped improve diving safety for sure.
I'm going to go to what I always go to when in doubt. Blame the people. Human factors.
Human factors. I was going to say my next hit was going to be that it's been adopted by other industries, which human factors certainly has, and is one of the important trends in diving, but that's not it. You're gonna have to come back to the other side, and I'll tell you what it's about.
Hang around to the end of the video to find out, guys. But while we're waiting to find out the answer to the most influential thing in the rebreather history, Michael, what are the lead stories this month in In-Depth?
Yeah, so we have some fun stuff as usual. We have uncovered a secret fetish among hardcore wreckers, and we've gotten a number of them to kind of come clean, come on the record, and come out of the closet, as it were, and reveal their fetish. And that is that we are going to explore the poop decks of famous shipwrecks around the world. We have Lee Bishop, Becky Schott, Gary Gentile, Tamara Thompson, Becky Boring, and others. And we investigate sunken heads. We go to the John, yep, on shipwrecks around the world, from the Andrea Doria to the Hermes, to the HMS Hermes, etc. So it's a pretty fun feature, actually, and I mean, it's just really cool. So that's what we're leading off with. I think people will have some fun with it, you know.
Fun on the poop deck.
Toodaloo, yes. Anyway, fun on the poop deck, exactly. Gives new meaning to the words water sports, right? So anyway,
completely.
That's coming up. Our second story, really important one, the making of Avatar. And by that, I do not mean a James Cameron movie with Kirk Kroc as the dive director, but I am talking about advanced virtual assisted telemedicine in adverse remoteness. Avatar. This is the love child of Dr. Alessandro Moroni, the founder of Dan Europe. He has literally been working on this for 50 years, Nico. He did his PhD thesis in 1971 on the concept of being able to monitor divers underwater. The Avatar system has three components. One is biometrics for divers. So divers that we could actually measure what's going on in people's physiology while they are diving through biometrics, like we're used to in other areas, sports, running, swimming, right? Then the second part of the system is data analysis, to be able to take what's happening in the diver, analyze it. It might be, say, an expedition diver who's down, they've had to make a delay. And so we could actually look at your decompression stress and recompute a decompression schedule based on that. And then the third component is management. So a mission control. So you could take measurements from a diver, shoot them up to the surface, beam them over to Dan headquarters. Let's say a diver gets off the livo, emerges from the dive, not feeling very good, maybe bent. So they could put a call into Dan. Their monitors will have all their physiology, put it into the app, pump it over the internet. And so you could have a diving doc on the other end going, well, Nico, I noticed that, you're inflamed and your heart rate is off the chart, blah, 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 and actually diagnose you on the spot and make recommendations. So it's really dramatic. It will not only impact diving, but other industries. Think of remote wilderness hiking, skiing, other things. And as I say, he's been working on this for 50 years. So we talk to Dr. Maroney and kind of go through his thinking and how this developed and what it may mean. And as people are watching this week, actually, they're going to be trialing a beta unit in Deep Dive Dubai. They're going to be over there with the GUE crew and others actually testing out the system. So it's really remarkable.
Yeah, Dr. Maroney was good enough to actually come on and do a bit of a presentation on this Avatar project for our GUE Community Day. It was awesome. Really, really
Yes.
revelatory. Regular viewers of the channel will know that. If you haven't seen it, link to the GUE Community Day is above. What else have you got for us, Michael?
Yep. So have you seen the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die, with Daniel Craig?
I have.
You have. Then you have seen the subject of our next story, a profile, Andy Torbett, who is former special forces, cave divers, sky jumper, rock climber, and the stunt double for Daniel Craig. He's also a BBC presenter. Beyond Bionics is one of his shows. He's got a number of shows on BBC. And so we have a wonderful profile of him by Carlos Lander, who looks at the question, we're in this time of certainly of stress with the damn pandemic and everything else going on. So Carlos went to Andy to say, how does he, here's a guy who manages a lot of stress or is able to, what is his secret? So it's a really interesting profile, and yeah, we're excited to do it and that sort of thing. So yeah, so that's fun. A feature. Next, I've been wanting to do this for a while. GUE, like the military, like the commercial diving community, has diving standards, diving operational standards. One of those is standard gases, right? We have standard gas mixes we breathe depending on the type of dive you're going to do, both bottom mix or diluent in your rebreather, as well as decompression gases. And so Rich Walker, British instructor trainer, explorer, shipwreck explorer, has done this great piece on understanding special gases and why we do this and what some of the advantages might be. And he takes sort of a musical approach to it. It's a really fun piece. He likens it to back in the old days when we were all diving air. What mix you're on and what your decompression wasn't really an issue because we're all diving the same gas, etc. Air, as we know, is really, well, as we say in GUE, compressed air is for tires. It's really not something good to use for diving. However, right, so we've replaced it with mixed gas, whether nitrox or trimix, and Rich goes through this and kind of explains the rationale and the advantages of using standard gases versus what's called best mix, where you customize a gas just for this particular dive. So anyway, it's a really good piece, and I'm glad we can finally run it. Which brings us back to our questions at the top of the hour, right? Like, what breakthrough was predicted to really make a difference in rebreather diving safety?
Right.
And that breakthrough was solid state sensors or optical sensors. These came out, were announced about 5 years ago by Poseidon Diving Systems, announced that they were moving to solid state sensors instead of galvanic sensors, which are currently used on rebreathers.
Can I give you a time out there, Michael? For the sake of us who don't speak tech, what is a solid state sensor?
Okay. Well, let me start for basics. In order to have a mixed gas rebreather, you have to know what gases are in the loop. And the critical gas is oxygen. So the enabling technology for rebreathers was really being able to sense oxygen sensors. Walter Stark, we just ran an article about this, have put out the first commercial mixed gas rebreather called the Electrolung. At that point, they had these 3 polographic sensors that they would mix up before the dive, and this helped them determine how much oxygen in the loop.
Right.
Because they were very reliable, he created what's called voting logic, which is what's used virtually on almost all rebreathers today. And that is,
Right
you
on.
have three sensors because no one of them is reliable.
Mhm.
And then you basically take the two closest ones and average their value for partial pressure of oxygen, and you exclude the third one. They all
Right.
agree it's the same, but if you have one over here and two here, you take those. So that's called voting logic.
Mm.
And virtually all rebreathers use that, and it's recognized that that's sort of the weak point in rebreathers.
Mhm.
And you need to know where your oxygen is at every moment, right? That's really key. So optical sensors rather, and so we've moved to what's called galvanic sensors. They're basically little batteries, and in the presence of oxygen, they generate a current proportional to the amount, the pressure of oxygen in the gas that they're surrounded by.
Mhm.
So, and again, they use voting logic. An optical sensor, rather than using this chemical, they're basically a little wet battery that responding to the oxygen in the gas. So an optical sensor actually uses it's called luminescent quenching, and it basically shines a light on a surface surrounded by the gas in the loop, and depending on the oxygen, it changes color under this light. It changes color in response to the amount of oxygen in a predictable way. So then you can just have a digital color meter, read the meter, and then convert that into PO2. So it's reportedly a lot more reliable, etc., than a wet galvanic cell, wet battery. So Poseidon came out with these. They started with them as an outboard sensor to verify what was going on in the rebreather. And this was in March 2017. They said they would license it to other manufacturers. There's a lot of talk in the industry about it, like, wow, this is going to change everything. And here we are 5 years later, and what's happened? Where are they?
That sounds pretty cool.
Poseidon has them.
Cool.
Poseidon has them in their unit. We've spoken to them, and how about the rest? So we have a great new technology reporter, a woman named Ashley Stewart, who is a professional journalist. And so we put her on the story. And so she basically has talked to all the powers that be around the world. And we're going to be able to answer the question, what is happening with solid state sensors? So I think it's a must read for everyone interested in rebreathing, for sure.
I mean, that's pretty sweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
And thank you for explaining it oh so eloquently.
Well, yeah, so it's the next step. In other industries have actually moved from aerospace, pharmaceuticals have moved from galvanic sensors, which are known to be not very reliable, to solid state sensors. Of course, putting these in rebreathers, equipment that goes underwater, is always a challenge, and hence the devil's in the details. And
Right.
Ashley dives into the details quite nicely, so I think everyone's going to like it.
Sounds like a great episode.
Yep. And when's it coming out? It's coming out this Thursday.
And where can people find it?
They can find it at InDepth.blog or GUE.com/blog. We'll be publishing it this Thursday, which I think is December 2nd, right? The next coming Thursday.
I believe so. Yes.
It'll be there. So I hope everybody checks it out.
Do so. Free scuba diving content monthly. Be sure to subscribe to InDepth. And if you like this video, guys, please be sure to like the video, share the video with anyone, any scuba diver or technical diver. I don't know why I'm differentiating, who you think may be interested. And as always, guys, please do hit the subscribe button, tickle the notification bell, and we will see you, I guess, in the new year then, won't we?
Yeah, that'll be next year. Yes, it will.
Where's 2021 gone?
We were locked down for large parts of it. Hopefully 2022 is going to be a little better, looking like, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Listen, 21 was better than 20. Hopefully 22 is better than 21. Roll on. Michael, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the new year.